Welcome in to a Sunday night edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by my guy, Lance Beal, attorney at law down there in Lafayette in Acadiana Parish. If you're looking for legal representation, whether it is dealing with just about anything, get in touch with our friend Lance Beal. If nothing else, he can help you out, man. He is a wealth of knowledge in the legal field. You can get in touch with him by calling him, as we say every week, 337-991-6263, 337-991-6263, and of course online at lawofficeoflancebeal.com. He is our friend, and he knows what it takes to win inside the courtroom. Personal injury, small business, construction law, family law, estate planning, all of it. Get in touch with Lance Beal. It is a football Sunday here. We will talk about football as the NFL, NFC, and AFC playoff picture starting to shape up. Still football left to be played as we're watching KC and Pittsburgh over here at the Noodle. There's also a Monday night matchup. Monday night matchup. That's why I think we need one more in here.
One more TV?
One more screen.
Oh, that would be
somewhere.
Excellent. That would be excellent.
You know what I mean? One more tomorrow night, as it will be the Los Angeles Rams. Why am I blanking? Help me.
We were trying to do this.
Arizona Cardinals.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
Great matchup.
Yes, it is. I've just got a lot of football in my mind. And then tonight, obviously, the playoff implications on who Cincinnati will play next. And as it goes, if KC wins, Burrow and the boys heading off to Nashville to face the Titans.
And Derrick Henry?
And Derrick Henry looks like he's going to be back. If Pittsburgh prevails, then Burrow and the boys heading to a windy, cold Buffalo, which I don't know if that makes any difference because Cincinnati looked very frigid on a Sunday afternoon. Burrow had his playoff moment, his first playoff game of his career. They win it yesterday in dramatic fashion. Now, the referee stole a little bit of the headlines as there was an inadvertent whistle on Burrow's pass to Tyler Boyd, which I as soon as I thought it, I thought Joe Montana and Dwight Clark, the catch in Candlestick,
and a young boomer.
Yes, a young Chris Berman from San Francisco. But that was an incredible just awareness by Burrow, typical Burrow in the moment, making the play. In fact, we will talk to Jimmy Burrow, his old man who was in the jungle in Cincinnati yesterday.
Keeps winning
for the first playoff victory for Cincinnati in 31 years since 1991. Icky Shuffle, the Icky Woods was leading them out. It was so good, and even was it on Uzuma's touchdown?
The first touchdown of the game, he did the Icky Shuffle, and he tried to bring it into the gritty, and he kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit out there. But the Icky Shuffle was a comeuppance for Cincinnati Bengals fans, and just like that, everything that was tied together. It was almost a little bit Reggie Bush with the bat. Like they're just bringing this whole thing together. They got that train rolling, man. They're better than people think.
Yeah, they are. They really are. They're scary out. Their defense needs to improve before week 2 of the playoffs, but
left a lot of points on the board too.
They did. Kansas City and Pittsburgh, we will catch you up. The Cowboys fall in dramatic fashion at home tonight. Got to be a sickening time to be a Dallas fan right now, as they had opportunities. Their offense really let them down today, Dak and the group. But San Francisco, how about it, man? Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers roll into Dallas and stay alive. They will follow up a trip to Cowboy Stadium to Lambeau next week to take on Aaron Rodgers. It was a fun weekend, man, of watching sports. It really was. Yesterday, for me, shout out to our guy, Edward Jones. I'm wearing the shirt tonight representing Daniel Newman, who was set up yesterday. Newman's onto something over there with that basketball tailgate, obviously with the excitement that is buzzing around the city and LSU. Newman was out there. We saw the Balcony Bengals, who are experiencing a lot of success right now, out there supporting. So it was great to see those guys pregame. Obviously, the game did not go like LSU basketball wanted to. Last 9 minutes of that game was as ugly as a stretch that the program has seen in a while offensively. I was trying to remember the last time that they had gone through an offensive slump like they did yesterday. Over the last 9 minutes, they score a basket, and that is a Alex Fudge dunk. By the way, Fudge looked fantastic. He looked great on Saturday.
And even with all that said, if Milwaukee Wilkinson can keep hold of that ball at the end, you feel like LSU has a chance to not only to steal the game and win, even though as bad as they played offensively, they still we're obviously in it until the end, which is, I mean, I guess you could put a little, that's going to happen. It felt like the LSU was due for a loss a little bit, too.
I kind of felt the same way.
Me
I'm
too.
not making excuses by any means, and I'm
Just
not
tough
saying
stretch,
that I'm excusing some of the play down the stretch, but I mean, the SEC is a tough ticket, man. It really is. I mean, every time you step out there, it's up for grabs, and I think Arkansas was a little deceivingly down when you looked at their record, when you looked at who they were coming in, and their best player took the game over in the last 4 minutes. I mean, Jalen Williams, you got to give him credit. From offense to defense, he hit big shots, as Will Wade said after the game. They missed the assignment on the switch on Williams, in which he stepped out and buried a huge three-pointer. He also made an enormous play on the defensive end to preserve the win for Keith Smart coming in here as an interim coach, or as Eric Musselman's associate head coach, and had to take over for Musselman, as Musselman was dealing with some rotator cuff surgery last week.
Oh, he didn't have the vid?
He didn't have the vid.
This man. Okay, I didn't know that. Is that the least shocking injury of all time?
What
do you think he was doing to where
probably working out with the team, like doing some type of push-up in the middle of the court while everybody was stretching? I thought he was look, I think Musselman's a good coach.
I know he is, but he loves the spotlight.
Strange.
He loves all.
Weird.
I mean, you saw he probably tore it when he took that charge in the hallway. But I have it on good authority that there's a lot of time that goes into what they do for Musselman to do, like the UPS and all that stuff. Like they allocate a lot of resources that some people think should go to basketball.
Somebody
practice.
that's that aware and cares that much about the brand and what they look like, that's not one take.
No,
you know what
that's
I mean?
like that's what are we doing here a little bit? Like, can we get in the layup line?
Right?
Can we get to basketball?
Wow. But LSU basketball falls yesterday, 65-58. As the end of the game was a 17-2 run for Arkansas in the final 9 minutes that just, as we said, tough to remember a stretch that bad for LSU. Not just this season. I was trying to think just because of the offensive woe, right? I mean, like it's underway. They've always scored points. So to see them struggle the way they did last night or yesterday afternoon inside the Maravich Center was tough. And look, it was ugly, man. They missed 4 shots, committed 4 turnovers in that final stretch. Arkansas went on a 10-0 run to take a lead at 58-56 late in that game, and that's when you could kind of see it and feel it and almost sense it really slipping away for LSU. Their defense tried to bail them out, but Arkansas just hit big shots. Jalen Williams hit a tie-breaking three-pointer with just over a minute left to play, and then he made a huge defensive play to keep Arkansas alive and get the win 65-58. And it's a big week for LSU. They're on the road a couple of times. Wednesday, they're at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa, taking on Alabama, who fell yesterday to Mississippi State. Look out, Mississippi State's playing really good basketball over the past couple of weeks and look like they're making a run up the charts of SEC play and kind of the pecking order of the conference. Kentucky blew out Tennessee, which LSU will have to make a return trip from Tennessee coming in a couple of days ago, really, a week ago yesterday. And then LSU will look up and they'll be in Knoxville on Saturday. So 2 road games for LSU coming off of their second loss in conference play, which sets them at 3-2 and 15-2 overall, and no sense to panic, in my opinion. Right? Like, I mean, I saw some of the talking points of LSU fans, kind of wondering what's going on offensively and can they get it right. And I think they can. I really do. I think it's like we said, they haven't experienced a stretch like that last 9-minute run that happened for Arkansas, both for LSU on each end of the floor, where they just couldn't stop them and they couldn't score. So I don't think that is the norm. I think that's very much the outlier of LSU. And, playing without Xavier Pinson is going to catch up with you at some point. And Gaines played really well against Tennessee and followed that up with a really nice performance against Florida on the road. But at some point, his inexperience is going to pop up, and the inability to go to Pinson to come in and fill that void is going to cost LSU. And I thought that was glaring yesterday, especially in the biggest moments.
Because you saw how good I keep saying this about Eric Gaines. You take the good with the bad, because that's what he does. He's an electric, goes 100 miles an hour on each side of the court. His defense is he's probably the impetus of that defense to make sure it runs the way that it does, because his energy on that side of the ball is impossible to play against. He almost dictates what you do on offense by how aggressive he is on defense. But last night was the case of when LSU gets into March, that you'll be able to see what they're missing, and that's Adam Miller. They need a go-to guy. They need a scorer, and they don't have that right now.
Somebody that can bail you out of a stretch where you're not
you're not chucking things off the glass with 1 second left.
Where it's 19-2.
Right. Like, that should never happen.
Right.
And they lost the way Will Wade designed that team. You could see that was one of the biggest pieces that, like, if that puzzle is missing that piece, you can't finish it. Like, you probably won't be able to win a national championship, but with them, that's a national championship level team. They have the one guy that you need in college basketball to be able to score whenever nobody else can get a bucket. Somebody can go get you one, like Cam Thomas against Michigan last year. Like, he scored 20 of 28 points in the first half. Like, you need somebody like that when the cards are down and defense is playing, somebody can still roll and get you a bucket.
Jay Booge, Jordy, is the SEC the best conference in college basketball this year? Jay, I'm very biased, and I don't watch a ton of basketball outside of the conference, but it's hard for me to imagine that there is a conference as stacked as what SEC play has right now. Like I said, if you're paying attention, Mississippi State is making a little bit of a push here. They are definitely improving. Kentucky hung 100 on Tennessee on Saturday, the most that Kentucky had ever scored against Tennessee in that series, which is one of the most longest-running rivalries in the SEC. Auburn was on the road down at halftime last night, and Jabari Smith took that game over in the second half. He went lottery pick down the stretch for Auburn. I think that they wake up tomorrow morning and the number one team in the country, especially with what happened to Baylor last week. Baylor was beaten twice by Texas Tech, and then was beaten by Oklahoma State, I believe, yesterday.
And UCLA lost.
UCLA got beat out west. So I think that Auburn's going to wake up tomorrow and be the number one team in the country, and deservedly so. I mean, like, when you watch Auburn play, and we were lucky enough to make that trip a couple of weeks back and watch that team play in person, and it felt like, I told little Jay leaving the building, there's not a better team in the country than that when they're playing right. Like, you can sneak up and beat anybody on any given night in basketball, especially with, some of these high-end teams when you play them on a neutral floor, like what the postseason will look like. But Auburn feels like a number one seed when you watch them play. They just have everything. And Jabari Smith really puts them over the top, because he's that cat when, like LSU experienced yesterday, where they couldn't throw it in the ocean from a boat, that you can at least look at somebody and say, hey, man, you're better than everybody out here. Just take over. And Smith did that yesterday. He hit big shot after big shot down the stretch, which is concerning about LSU, because you think Darius Days is that guy. He's not. And I don't know if at this point it's probably on us to expect that to happen for Days. I think Days is a solid player, man. Really. When you look up, he's a 4-year college basketball player. And I think that's who he is. That's his scouting report. Just a really solid player. Checks a lot of boxes. Does he do anything great, elite, possibly rebound? I mean, he's really good. He's got really good hands around the rim. But outside of that, an elite quality from a senior in college basketball that is the leader of the team is tough to find with Darius Days, and that's just the hard, cold truth on it. I love Darius Days. I think that he is a great representative of LSU and what he's accomplished, and he is a fantastic player. But expecting him to bail LSU out in a moment like they were experiencing yesterday is too much for him. It's not who he is. He's uncomfortable in that role. When he can come out and play loose and everybody's hitting shots and the ball is moving and LSU's not turning it over and the game doesn't ratchet up to get real tight, then he's top 3 player on the floor. But when you have to have it, and it has to happen in moments, in possessions, in big-time spots, consistently, it's not going to be there. So for his performance yesterday, I know that he is very down on how he played yesterday. Only 3 points. Took him, a while to find the basket and find the rim. I thought he really hurt you defensively on just finding a matchup for him that he could really draw and have an advantage on both sides of the floor. So I'm with you, Lloyd. Adam Miller is supremely missed on just how he could help you offensively and bail you out of moments like that, and you don't have to apply that pressure on to a player like Days.
He didn't come back to do this. He didn't come back to be the savior of LSU basketball. Like, I'm gonna come score 24 a night and and be a lottery pick or a first overall pick. Like, Adam Miller was there for those 24 points a night that you could kind of etch in the book. Like, he's gonna get you 20. Darius Days can get hot behind the 3-point line, and he can put up 20 points a game, but he's not going to average that. What Jabari Smith and what Auburn has, that's what Adam Miller was to LSU.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been the first overall pick, but he would have been that guy that when you looked up and you're like, all right, get it to the Wolf. Like, now it's like, you know who's going to have it, and we don't care.
Yeah.
And that's what Auburn has with Jabari, and that's what's probably going to take them, like you said, probably the number one team in the country in a 1 seed into March. They're a terrifying matchup.
Terrifying.
They did as well as LSU did in the portal, buddy. Getting old boy getting Walker Kessler from North Carolina and get him to Auburn shows that the SEC is here, kind of maybe the best league in college basketball.
Yeah, it was like the conversation that we were having at Auburn with an Auburn fan, where they were so shocked, even 8 years into Bruce Pearl, to be able to get a player to transfer out of North Carolina to come to Auburn to play basketball. I was sitting right next to a couple next to us in Auburn Arena, and we were talking about Walker Kessler, and that had to be one of his dominant games that he played. I mean, against LSU, he nearly played perfect that night. So we were talking about him, just getting him, onto campus and what it meant for Auburn basketball. And they were still kind of in this state of awe that they had been able to pull a player out of Chapel Hill to come to Auburn. But then, when you just kind of say it out loud and give the circumstances, I was like, look, I hear you. It would have been crazy for something like that to happen even at LSU, where you got kids leaving North Carolina, and even Adam Miller leaving Illinois after the year he had last season coming to LSU felt almost like a damn, man. That's a big get.
Big pool.
Like, that's a strong get. But go down the boxes, for Auburn. You got a better coach than North Carolina. Check. You got better facilities than North Carolina. Right now, you've got better support than North Carolina. And you play in a conference that put 7 teams into postseason play.
That's really starting to give a damn about it, too.
Right. Well, they've got the money. They've got the resources. You can see everybody's coming here to really show off. Mm-hmm. You go get Nate Oates at Buffalo. You bring guys into, Texas A&M, Reed Arena. On Tuesday night, that place is going to be jumping with Kentucky in town. They just beat the hell out of Missouri. Now, look, Missouri's no good, but Texas A&M's kind of starting to get it right with Buzz Williams.
Good coach.
A really good coach.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's what's you look around, the best of the best are here.
Yes.
Right? The best of who they are and in their trade are around here. The top facilities. That's why Wade, it's so crazy to think.
They're the Bengals.
On what he's accomplishing. By the way, we didn't mention it. I know we've been talking a little bit about LSU basketball, but
5-star.
Another one. 6th straight 5-star. Or excuse me, 6th straight class for Will Wade that will feature a 5-star. Marvell Allen with a great name.
It's Marvell.
Yeah,
I know,
Marvell.
but he might be a superhero.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Marvell Allen is the latest to commit. Last night he did it on ESPN. Salute to you, all of you out there, you media members, Pat 40, Dickie V, and the crew, as Marvell made it official last night. Number 2 player in the state of Florida. Another season in a row where Wade goes into Florida and just raids it. Last year he gets Brandon Murray and Efton Reed. This year he looks up and gets Julian Phillips and Marvell Allen, the top point guard from the state of Florida. Last night he made it official on ESPN, and it was cool, man. It was good to see. Wade get another one, and a lot of compliments to Wade during that commitment, man. Like when he was asked from the ESPN crew what made LSU stand out, I mean, Will Wade obviously just doing work, man. And we asked Adam Miller about it when he committed, and if you recall, Adam Miller said something to us that really stood out, and we asked the people out. Like, Wade would watch NBA final games with Miller. Remember when Miller was telling us this, how they would, like, watch games together on Zoom, and, like, Wade was just kind of like, it was almost kind of like a watch party. Like we have one.
Right, it's like a Manning cast.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Manning, where you just kind of sit there and talk ball and learn about each other, and you're in a comfortable environment for everybody. So everybody's a little loose, right? Like, I mean, Adam Miller and Will Wade talking basketball, that's a common denominator. It doesn't matter what your background is, that you're a coach, I'm a player. I mean, we're all doing the same thing. We're watching the sport. Here's the NBA Finals, the elite in the world duking it out for a world championship. Let's just hang and watch it. It looked like Allen, like what he talked about, shared a lot of those moments with Wade. I mean, it seemed like he really knows Wade. He said relationships meant a lot to him, and Wade has done, in my opinion, an incredible job at building, maintaining, always staying in touch with his relationships. And I think really, I mean, everybody wants to make. That's how he's getting them. Everybody wants to make the jokes. Everybody's asking guys, and I mean that article in the Gainesville Sun about how Matt White's doing it right and Bruce Pearl and Will Wade are cheating, like, bruh. Well, good God, welcome.
Y'all are going to be left behind.
I mean, wake up! It's 2022, not 1955. I mean, my God. I mean, that was the just. Embarrassing.
Salty.
It was so embarrassing. If I'm a Florida fan, I'd have been like, fire this guy.
Take this thing off the internet.
Get the hell out of here with this stuff. But Marvell Allen is the latest. As we said, 6th straight recruiting class for Will Wade with a 5-star prospect.
And he will. Do you think he'll reclassify?
I think so.
I mean, that's the reason you announced, right?
Yeah.
But you talked about what. I mean, you remember the I forget what player it was, but he called Will Wade the Elon Musk of college basketball.
It was the kid at Kentucky, Severe Wheeler.
Yes,
the guy that transferred to Kentucky.
What is he from?
From Georgia.
Yeah, because Will Wade did the same thing.
LSU. Yeah.
Crushed.
Yeah,
but like. I know that the old adage is you don't recruit you don't commit to a coach, you commit to a program.
Yeah.
Will Wade is absolutely doing the opposite. Like they're committing to Will Wade. They're not really committing to LSU basketball. And that's why, in my mind, like you have to lock up Will Wade if you're LSU, because look at what he's able to do with really a stigma kind of around him still. But now that is kind of in the wind, and Pete Thamel can write what he wants, and there'll be an article probably 3 weeks from now. They'll just hit send on the one they wrote 3 weeks before that.
3 years.
3 years, yes.
Yeah, right.
Jesus. But like the fact that Will Wade is able to bring people into LSU and get 5-star after 5-star after 5-star with the facilities as they are, and kind of the support that LSU basketball was dead before he got here. So you could point to one person, and all the recruits are saying, "Yeah, I'm coming here essentially because of Will Wade." It's not LSU basketball; it's him. So if you're LSU basketball, make him a part of your team for the next. However, give him a Krzyzewski deal, give him the lifetime, because you're not going to find anybody better.
It seems very obvious. Remember, Lance Beal, attorney at law, brings you the Jordy Culotta Show every Sunday night here on the Jordy Culotta Show channel on YouTube. Hopefully by now you have signed up or subscribed to Mic'd Up YouTube, a part of FM Digital Media. We set sail tomorrow for our first show, our maiden voyage over here at FM Digital Media underneath the umbrella here with Mic'd Up, Mikey Montook, former LSU All-American, first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Rays, now a free agent in this lockout as he keeps his Major League Baseball life alive, but really starting to think about life after the sport and getting into the media game and getting into podcasting. And, man, we can't wait till tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock when him and Kevin Galsman, actually, speaking of baseball, the $100 million man of the Toronto Blue Jays of the offseason, will sit down. Galsman will give his first on-air interview since inking that contract, and he'll do it with one of his good friends who really is going to allow that to be a comfortable environment over here at the Noodle, at the new spot, as it's really cool, man. And we've got some stuff going on. We got some conversations happening behind the scenes of more shows that we're developing over here that is really exciting, man. I mean, it is really cool to think about what could be over here at FM Digital Media over the next couple of weeks and months. And, we look up here and we cranked up this project of the Jordy Culotta show out of our undisclosed location at the end of January. And here we are at the beginning of January of 2022 in a new spot, launching our first show and thinking about how we're going to get to more shows pretty quickly here and give you more, really options to get your news, to get what you care about, to get the information that you're seeking with the relationships that we have. And we're going to do it with the support of great advertisers from local communities, all like Lafayette, Lance Beal, attorney at law down there in Acadiana, to Edward Jones and Daniel Newman, who's right here in Baton Rouge. We spoke to a lot of people over in New Orleans. It's just really cool times for us over here, and it's really, man, is because of y'all, man. It's because of your support, being here every morning, being here when we go live. We'll have some more watch parties this week with LSU being on the road in basketball and both of their matchups on Wednesday night versus Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and then on Saturday they'll be in Knoxville taking on Tennessee. We'll probably be live for both of those. It's just a common denominator that we all have. So it's cool, man. We love it. Thank you. Hit the like, share, comment button. Just interact with us, and we appreciate that very much. But tomorrow, Mic'd Up debuts here on the FM Digital Media Network at 11 o'clock. So make sure if you're not subscribed to subscribe to the Mic'd Up YouTube channel. Let's make sure and put that on our social tonight.
Absolutely.
As we give just some late 11th hour opportunities for our listeners and audience to catch Matuk tomorrow. So LSU football is also in the news, and we'll talk some NFL stuff as it's knotted up at Arrowhead right now, 7-7, as Roethlisberger and the Steelers will have the ball with 5:34 remaining here in the first half. We'll keep you updated on some NFL stuff and tell you what the ramifications are. Obviously, as we told you, for Burrow and the Bengals, 9 catches yesterday for Jamar Chase in his playoff debut as he continues to terrorize NFL defensive backs. I cannot wait until the All-Pro team announced it. If Jamar Chase is not an All-Pro, I'm telling you, it's a crime, man, because there is not 3 better wide receivers on Sundays than Chase right now. I mean, this cat is unguardable in his first season in the NFL. He really is. I mean, he is indefensible as a wide receiver one-on-one. And when he is one-on-one, Burrow just chops you up and finds it every time. Burrow was Joey. Big game, huge moment. He performed. Couple of touchdown passes. He's got the moment. The one that's going to be controversial. That referee crew, by the way, it was announced, they're out. They're done for the playoffs.
What are they going to do with the...
They don't get another assignment.
What about the America's team's crew?
I don't know.
That guy was playing with pinballing everybody in around there.
The officials have
worst week that they could have had.
It's become storylines here in the wild card weekend of the NFL postseason, which is a nightmare for the NFL front office. I mean, look, I know that there's interest, there's intrigue, there's billions of dollars being exchanged between the owners and the NFL. They're making a ton of money, but for the officials to be the storyline
again
after weekend 1 of the playoffs is a disaster. I mean, really, it is a disaster to see how many times the referees stole the moment of the game. And the game, outside of last night's Buffalo, New England, which Buffalo looks
wagon. Dude,
they look
Mafia
tough, bro. Yeah.
Is a riot.
They're maniacs.
Snuck another dildo on the field.
Really?
Yeah, got one into the playoff game.
Wow, good for them.
Good for them. If you think about it, very easy thing to sneak into a game.
Absolutely.
Because they can go one of 2 ways.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we got the clear purse. I think it goes, if you're a man, it goes,
Sure,
you're hanging dong.
Yeah, right.
And if it's a girl, you do what you use it for.
Yeah.
And then you go to the bathroom.
Right. What are you going
to do? And then 30 seconds later, it's on the field. They're going to do it again, too.
No doubt about it.
No doubt.
So tonight, if KC wins, Burrow and the crew are going to Tennessee. If Pittsburgh wins, Burrow and the Bengals head to Buffalo. So that's tonight's ramifications of the playoffs. 7-7.
Wow, really?
KC Pittsburgh first half, 5:25 left in the second half, in the second quarter. All right, little LSU football news here as we'll get to some of your comments before we get out of here. As I see, we're still talking a little about LSU basketball within the chat. Which, by the way, a little caveat of the weekend. Did you see this? Pistol Pete had had an auction over the weekend of his memorabilia, and his Letterman jacket at LSU sold for $117,000. The total Maravich memorabilia auction netted over $160,000, and that included the Letterman jacket, which was swagged out from the late 60s, early 70s. When
is there a picture of it?
I don't have one in the document, but there's got to be one.
You
Purple jacket trimmed with gold and featuring a gold L on the left chest, and was worn by Maravich during his 3 seasons at LSU. Went for $116,924.
Yeah.
There it is.
This is cool.
Wow, look at that, man.
It's no Kim Mulkey jacket, but it's pretty fire.
Oh, Mulkey will make that work, though. Another win for the ladies
Another
today.
win?
Rolled up Vanderbilt inside the Maravich Center. Tough noon start. Wow, look at that thing, dude.
Yeah. You don't wear it, though, right?
I think you frame it, probably.
Right, that's what I would imagine. Is there, I guess, but how do you know whose it is? You just have to tell them.
Do I see Maravich on the inside of that right pocket?
Let's see. Hold on. Let me get a little zoom.
Can you zoom in there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is.
Is that Maravich?
Uh-huh.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that's what steals the show.
$117K, man.
Worth it.
Wow.
Is
FM
it?
Digital
Who
Media.
did it?
Come on, baby.
We did? That's ours?
Yeah.
See it at the
absolutely.
studio? It'll be here Monday.
Clap will get bumped over a little bit.
Sorry about it.
But Brian Kelly looks like he's filling out his staff. He looks like he got his guy, Cortez Hankton, which in my opinion is a grand slam of a final hire. Like if you're going to end it and drop the mic and hit the offseason and hit the recruiting trail, bringing a St. Aug and a New Orleans native home in Hankton, who spent the last couple of years of robbing the state of recruits over at Georgia, was a good one. I mean, that was because I was looking at this staff, if we're being honest, right? I kind of looked at it, I was like, I mean, without sounding like a prick, I mean, it was like, it's Frank Wilson and a bunch of Yankees. You know what I mean?
That was my concern. I was very vocal about this.
And I don't think, and I do think that there is an emphasis, because I really was that guy the last time of, you got to get one of us, or somebody that can relate to the people, talk to the recruits. And I'm not, I live and learn, right? I'm not as bullheadish as I was 6 years ago going through this process, and understand that it takes a different, it takes a different personality sometime to come in here and change things up and step in and really rehabilitate where LSU football has been. And right now, Brian Kelly, I think, like I said late last week, I don't even know if the people within understood just how screwed up the program was, how bad it was when Orgeron left it. It was a combination of the missteps by Orgeron, and even some of the last parts of Les Miles, a couple of those years wrapped up into a bunch of crap for LSU administration and the state legislature, who is really essentially the boss of LSU, to step in and say, look, now's the time to clean this stuff up, and that's what's happening. A real big overhaul of staff, and Brian Trudeau says Brad Davis and Joe Sloan, the new quarterbacks coach, ain't Yankees. You're right. But to end it with Cortez Hankton was a 5-star hire, was a phenomenal hire. And I think you bring in Hankton on not just his recruiting prowess, but if you really looked at the way that the wide receiver and the pass catchers have been coached up over at Georgia the past couple of seasons. Now, they haven't set the world on fire offensively, and they haven't really had the most creative offensive brand, but they've had some good pass catchers come out of there. George Pickens is somebody that jumps to mind of a guy that they really won out in recruiting. Jermaine Burton is a guy that had LSU committed all the way up until signing day, until Cortez Hankton was able to flip him to Athens. And even Brock Bowers was a guy that he was very instrumental on, and he's been the passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach on Kirby Smart's staff for the past couple of seasons with the New Orleans and Louisiana ties. And I think Brian Kelly really knocked it out of the park in bringing him in as the 10th on-field staff member that'll wear a headset, right, during the game for LSU.
So wait, what will his role be for LSU? Is he going to be passing game coordinator and Like wide receivers coach? Or
I would
just
think
wide receivers
I would
coach?
think that he would have the wide receivers coach tag.
Definitely that.
Definitely.
Because,
and then I think that we would have some input just on the resume that he's bringing over from the past couple of seasons of the passing game and how it's going to work, right? I think that he's going to have an influence on it. I know that Brian Kelly's going to run his offense the way he wants to run his offense, but by no means do I get the feeling by people that I've talked to who have worked with him, been recruited by him, and now on his staff, do I get the sense that he's closed-minded, that it's his way or the highway?
No, the only thing that would make you think that was the offensive coordinator's interview with Russillo, Tommy Rees, when he was like, I finally feel like I have full autonomy. But that's just Brian Kelly saying, I have principles of what to do. He's
Lloyd,
not trying to...
I think if you look and you read inside that conversation with Rees, that was Rees's first big job.
Yeah.
I mean, really and truly. And Brian Kelly is making, and his reputation's on the line for what happens on, for Notre Dame football, and specifically on that side of the ball. He's not going to gamble with that. The Mike Denbrock scale to Tommy Rees scale, I think, is probably the spectrum of guys that you say, hey, look, Tommy, I'll let you call the plays, and I'm going to give you some guidelines that you're going to stick by because this is your first job, and until you really prove it to me that you can handle the moment, I will not take these training wheels off. For a guy like Marcus Williams, who I really only understand defense, Tommy, you've been working that offensive room for the past couple of years. You know that personnel. You know what's going on. You run it, right? I gotta focus on this. I think for Brian Kelly to come in and for Tommy Rees, he felt like he had to hold his hand because he was really protecting his own reputation. Yeah, when you bring in a guy like Cortez Hankton and you got a guy like Mike Denbrock with the experience and really kind of not just his age, but the history he has in football, and you got a guy like Frank Wilson on that side of the ball too. Hey, man, this is an open forum. This is my principle. This is who we're going to be. This is our mantra. This is our mission statement. But how do we get there? Tell me. I'm open for ideas, right? I think that that's happening with LSU football right now. I don't think that it's, hey, close that door. This is how it's going to be. Learn this playbook and make sure you know it by the end of August.
Yeah, on 3rd and 4, we're going to draw every time.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that strict, but I do think that it's just funny how you have to wrap your mind around what the expectations have changed with Brian Kelly's hire. Because if Ed Orgeron is still on staff and he makes these hires, there's no way that people aren't, kind of turning like a little bit of side-eye at LSU football. Like, what are they doing over there? Because it feels a lot like the Scott Linehan hire. Whenever you talk about offensive coordinator, it's like this guy doesn't really move the needle. Like, doesn't move the needle for me at all.
Yeah.
Like Mike Denbrock, and then you bring in Cortez. I was about to say Cortez Kennedy. You bring in Cortez from Georgia, and he's like, is he going to be the passing game coordinator? I look at Georgia's offense. That doesn't excite me at all.
Sure it doesn't. But look, man, first and foremost, the first sell I'm telling you on Cortez Hankton is now you've got Cortez Hankton and Frank Wilson in the city of New Orleans.
Yes.
Good luck. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, Nick Saban. Good luck, Jimbo Fisher. I'm not telling you that I'm betting against Saban, but the fight just got a lot tougher for him today, and he knows it. He knows that. Like, I guarantee you people, and this has probably been news inside the coaching community for a couple of weeks now. Shea Dixon said on Friday when we had him here, look, it's just a matter of when they announce Hankton at this point. He's going to be the guy. So people have known that he's going to fill this staff out for Brian Kelly. And I guarantee you that there have been phone calls between the power of college football, the Jimbo Fishers, the Nick Sabans, the Steve Sarkisians of the world saying, damn, LSU got better in bringing in Hankton and Wilson just for their own state. If we're really trying to make a impact on their state, those two guys are about as tough of a wall as you got to leap over to get into the city of New Orleans. And once you get there, they got everybody in their back pocket. Every conversation that's going to happen about LSU football from the enemy and from the opponent is going to get back to Frank Wilson. Like it's already happened. Because those guys and those coaches in that city have a loyalty to him that nobody can penetrate. Nobody can get through to. Saban's done an incredible job of building relationships and restoring and maintaining. And he's got a lot of people on his phone that they're going to pick up on the first call and tell them anything he wants. But now, 95, 97, 98% of those phone calls now that Saban's having with New Orleans people, with Louisiana people, as soon as they hang up with Nick, they're calling Frank and saying, guess what I just heard? Where LSU was really kind of out of the loop for that. That's why he can come in here and steal your top 3 wide receivers in one recruiting cycle. And Frank Wilson he's the Don. He's the G. He's the one that, everybody's kind of come through and kissed the ring on in the city of New Orleans. And now you put him with Hankton, who's a St. Aul guy, who's from the city, knows where all the players are, knows how to get to those players. Man, I'm just telling you, LSU just got really better, a lot better. And I think on the field they got better. And I don't have anything from an example standpoint to say, look, see, this is where Jake Fromm got better in the passing game. Or this is where Stetson Bennett really started to throw it down the field. But I do think that you can look at concepts and say, hey, man, even when they were handcuffed and they weren't creative, they were still running NFL-style routes. They were running principles on the outside where these guys were coached up on route running. The players were developing. They were getting better. I mean, I'm just watching Georgia football from afar. Jermaine Burton's gotten a lot better in the 2 years of watching him play. I mean, George Pickens was a menace in the second half of that SEC championship when he became eligible to play. Now, I know Stingley played his ass off and picked him off on the sideline, but Pickens in the second half looked like a pro. So, I mean, look, he's coming over here, I think, with not the resume I think that you want when you look at the offense of what Georgia was running, but who cares? Really, I could care less. I could care less on what that looks like, because the fact that you now have him as a guy that can get players in the state alongside Frank Wilson, I'm all in.
Because I think the bigger question with Brian Kelly was if it was a big culture conversation. Obviously, then you have the Southern thing, but then these were the hires that he had to kind of make to be able to solidify Louisiana, because he's a transplant. There's a lot made of, does he fit the culture, whatever, but him bringing in somebody, a St. Aul grad and Frank Wilson, to be able to hem up recruiting in Louisiana is all he needed to do. I'm not worried about what they bring. Their resumes, as far as offensive play calling or whatever, don't shock you. They're not that's not the reason to make the hire, but the recruiting is. And it's not Coach O. It's Brian Kelly, who has his roots based in offense. He's going to be able to put a viable offense on the field. So what I guess I'm trying to say is you don't have to have the same Coach O mindset of, oh God, this guy's going to have to all of these hires in terms of what they do position-wise, offensive coordinator, wide receivers coach, it's passing game coordinator. It's not that era where you need people to be able to help you. Brian Kelly came up through the coaching ranks as a good offensive-minded head coach. So he has his principles, and this is just lanyap for LSU. This is the way to lock down the state with recruiting. It's not about what they're going to do coaching-wise, on the field. It's about getting recruits, because Brian Kelly's going to hem and sew all that other stuff up as far as play calling and getting plays in and having a philosophy. They're going to be good on that. These guys are for recruiting, and that's what you needed most, and they're locking down the most important part of the state.
Absolutely. No, I think Hankton and Wilson together is a dream come true for recruiting as far as LSU football is concerned. A couple of comments inside of the chat. Nola P, can't wait to see the backfield of Emory and Kane next season. I tell you what, man, I can't either.
Did you see Emory? The training video we put out? Thick dude.
Man, he looks great. I saw him walking up the aisle of the Tennessee game at the basketball game 2 weeks ago, last Saturday night. And, I mean, you could tell. How big he was. No, you could tell. You could tell that he's checked in, man. I mean, by all accounts, he is in class, on time, not missing, in workouts, Dangerous. Driven. He is in. He's in.
That's a scary proposition. Is he qualified?
Yes.
Yeah,
no,
so
he's in.
Everything's good.
Spring football.
So
he's
first
ready to
game
go.
he can play.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's set.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
Because if you can get that backfield with the wide receivers they have returning and Miles, I mean, in my mind, Miles Brennan's going to be the starter at least for the first. Yeah. He's going to get first crack at it. That's a pretty good foundation to have, especially with the way that Brian Kelly's already built the offensive lineup. There's defense you have to work on a little bit, and you saw Dwight McLaughlin goes from LSU to Arkansas, and LSU gets 2 corners from Arkansas. It's a trade,
right,
essentially. But they're building it up through the portal, and you keep seeing players tweet out, "We're not done yet. We're not done yet." So LSU is cooking. They've added another linebacker. What I think last night.
Yeah, they got the kid from Virginia, the freshman from Virginia. A very West Weeks.
What a name. What a name.
Brock Bowers.
Mountain Mama.
West Weeks.
The table
from,
for two.
Watkinsville, Georgia. Played his freshman season at UVA.
Sounds
Actually
like
went
money.
to the same high school as Max Johnson and Arik Gilbert.
How white is he? So white.
Yeah,
Yep.
super
Oh,
white.
yeah, West
Yeah.
Weeks just reeks of money.
I mean, just
give the scholarship
private
back.
school.
Yeah. All-state, 2A.
I'm sorry, West, if you grew up in the bottom, but
There's no chance.
there's-
You look
it
at
just
this
doesn't
guy,
feel
there's
like it,
no
man.
Chance.
But they get another one. He was the 8th transfer that LSU has got, so they've now added
Seat
8
at the table,
players.
West Weeks.
8 players out of the transfer portal. They also picked up the big wide receiver from UL out of Thibodeau, Lacey.
4-star, huh?
He's a player, bro.
Dude.
I mean,
what?
LSU beat out like Auburn, Ole Miss,
Florida, obviously.
Oklahoma, Florida, Penn State. I mean, they beat him. They beat out some pretty big schools to get him. Also goes into wow.
You're telling me West Week
Oh,
grew up in the
wow.
sticks, dude? This
No
guy's
way.
a suburban all
No
the way.
West Weeks was driving a Tahoe to school since he was 14.
5% tint on the
14,
windows.
bro.
Yeah, pulling up at 7:05.
He
Class
probably
started
got
at
a
6:55.
new Tahoe
Yeah.
within high school.
Can I get white rims to match the car?
Absolutely,
Really?
you can, West.
We like you, West.
Yeah, we do like you, West. We're just
Just you put off
All
an
right.
aura.
Welcome to LSU
You
football.
got a vibe.
But yeah,
crack
I
some
mean,
heads.
we did Dwight McGlothern in the news today. He just committed to Arkansas. So, like you said, I mean, essentially, it was like a trade. It was like free. It was almost like the open
really what it
market.
feels
It is. I mean, just run it like that. Really, I've got no problem. Like, if it's going to be the end of college football, which the naysayers and the people out there say about name, image, and likeness and this stuff, if it's going to be that, then just embrace it. Like, really. Like, I mean, like, hire legit general managers. I mean, the price tag on Texas A&M signing class is reportedly like $33 million. I mean, like, is that amazing?
It's a Fortune 500 company.
That's amazing.
That's a business.
I mean, doesn't, like, for argument's sake, doesn't Jimbo, like, have, like, 30 bosses now? You know what I mean? Like, the phone calls and the BS and the crap
I
he
don't
is
think they've
going
thought
to
about
have
that.
to deal with.
I mean,
you
I'm going to
start-
talk to Jimbo. Like, absolutely
I mean,
not.
You can't make 25, 18-year-olds
Millionaires?
millionaires. Could you imagine? Like, if your boy got a scholarship to Texas A&M and he was going to A&M and he was going to be making $800,000 next year, well, you wouldn't be like, bro, I'm coming to A&M. I'm going to the community college. I mean, like,
Give me 3.
whatever you need, I'm in. I mean, like, we're going to screw this up completely.
Completely.
I mean, completely. I just...
Dude, look at what happened to. I mean, not to make light of what happened with the Raiders, but look at what happened when you put an NFL team in Las Vegas. They can't stop getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Imagine giving millions of dollars to 30 18-year-olds that are all on the same team. You don't think they're going out Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? Like, bro, I got this one. I got this one. Like, there's this. A&M will either be the best team maybe of all time in the next 4 years, or you'll see a 30 for 30 made on, okay, NIL blew up right in our face.
Cody Boudreaux, people knocking Lacey's star rating, but he was a basketball player until late his junior year. That is true, and he is. I don't think people are. Look at his offer list right now. I mean, people were on him.
What was Billy selling them?
Just the vision, bro. The vision. I mean, just you can come here and you can dominate competition, and you can still go to the league.
And we're on national television every week.
Absolutely. And we're going to win games, and we're going to put you into. We're going to develop you.
He built a program.
Yeah, he did, man.
Program.
He definitely did.
Program.
Donnie T, 21-7 halftime. KC up on Pittsburgh. Yeah, Travis Kelce scored a touchdown late in the first half to put KC up 2 scores, 21-7. Now the halftime score up at
Worst game of the day
at
for
Arrowhead.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. To Monday night playoff. Has there ever been a Monday night game? Is this the first?
The NFL every year.
Yeah,
They find a way.
capitalize
They
on it.
added what? I guess, is this a product of them adding that? I guess they add a game to the regular season schedule, and then you get a matchup between Cardinals and Rams, who 2 teams that you felt like midway through the season probably could have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like we're legitimate battles for the 1 seed in the NFC, and then the Packers went Packers, and Aaron Rodgers went Aaron Rodgers. But this matchup it feels NFC Championship-ish. Like, there's two teams that they're playing tomorrow that could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you get it on a Monday after you just got hit in the face with football Saturday night and then all day Sunday. Like, there's nothing better than the NFL and finding programming. The numbers that are going to come out from this are going to be absurd.
It is.
They had no competition either day.
It's going to be wild, man. I can't wait to see the ratings. Because the NFL has started to bring in the stream counts. Like, they have started to sell the analytic of streaming, which is why I think that like Amazon, Netflix, YouTube,
HBO.
Somebody's about to step in here and change the game completely up on the NFL.
And you're going to see a number and you're going to go, holy shit.
Oh, and it's probably going to be like Saban. It's going to be like Saban's contract. He's underpaid.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
No matter what. Every
doesn't
Sunday,
matter.
Every Sunday we could have gotten more.
Did you see Alabama change legislation?
Immediately.
On
You think it's funny they drop it on a Saturday night? Just a little. Maybe this will slide through.
Right, that's right.
So do you know what like the...
I think it was from like the same stuff that LSU was talking about. Like, the institution can now, like Florida, direct
where
the NIL stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, they can have more...
they're more they
can have more input.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
This is who you should pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you need to come pay him.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it's going to work. The Dwight McGlothern stuff has got people melting for sure, with him going to an SEC Western Division school in Arkansas, and LSU picking up a couple of Arkansas DBs in Fauché and Greg Brooks, a couple of Louisiana natives. And look, the story on McGlothern is a lot like the story on Trey Palmer. I don't know if they had choices that they could come back. I think that, like we talked about, that there is an obvious overhaul happening with LSU football, and even good players are being sacrificed, right? I mean, McGlothern was probably the best player left in that room, depending on what Jay Ward's status is. I'm talking about the defensive backfield room. But McGlothern was definitely, he felt like the best corner left in
you feel more confident next year going with Eli Ricks and Dwight McGlothern as your 1 and 2, and you lose both.
Absolutely. And now you look up and they're at Arkansas and Alabama.
Right. Yeah, you have to play them.
I mean, like like they're on the schedule.
Right.
So not ideal at all, but I think in the overall grand scheme of what LSU is trying to accomplish in this coaching change and new environment that they are creating is, they have a set personality, or they are looking for a specific individual. And if you don't check that criteria, I don't know if you even have a choice to come back, really. And I think McGlothern kind of fell into that mix. And for
these are culture moves, right?
Yeah.
Like to get so you don't fit the bill of what we're trying to do. Like, it's Brian Kelly saying, like, he's making these decisions as to kind of sending them to the portal as opposed to them making it on their own, right? He's like, I don't know if you're going to play for LSU football under me, right? Doesn't that kind of what it feel like? Yeah. Because Dwight's good.
Hell yeah. Cardell Flott's good.
Well, he's
I mean, like, just think about the guys that have been in that room that could be on this team, that are not.
You lost 4 corners in a year, essentially.
Pro corners. I mean, I believe that Dwight McGlothern will get run on Sundays.
Absolutely.
Eli Ricks, Stingley, and Flott definitely will. McGlothern feels like he definitely will.
Fits that mold.
You've got 4 pros that you've lost. But you're bringing guys in that they are looking to change a culture with, and I think that's what's happening right now. We're just seeing it. It's what's going on at LSU football, and that's why the news of Cortez Hankton being announced as the 10th on-the-field coach, to me, is big news. Really is. I think that, bringing a Louisiana native home and filling that staff out with a South Louisiana guy.
And look at all the Louisiana recruits they're getting. I mean, that's the sauce.
Yeah. And with big Louisiana recruits still left on the board, ideally Jacoby Matthews is somebody that LSU, if they could close this cycle with Matthews, that would be really big. I mean, that would go a long, long way if that could happen.
Feels like it might. The way that he's pushed it back and pushed it back and pushed it back, and now it's all the way, February 2nd, he's going to sign on the late signing day. And I guess you could say that the other one would be Javonte Citizen, right? Another Louisiana guy that you want to grab. But with the moves that they've made at running back, they've kind of solidified themselves to where if you don't get him, then you're fine. So I don't know if it's been like they've got news that he won't, sign with LSU. And so they're like, well, let's go get Noah Cain. But if you can get a 5-star, because we've had multiple people on Julie Bodwan And both Julie and Shay have said we've asked them who the best player in Louisiana is, and they both said Jacoby Matthews. And so if you can add, he's a starter immediately, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like in this defensive backfield.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's got what else do you have to sell him other than look? You get to stay in Louisiana and you get playing time immediately, and we think that you're good enough, and the room that we're building, you're going to be a star for 3 years and go to the NFL. Like, isn't that what you want anyway?
Right.
We can give you everything you want.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be huge to close with Jacoby Matthews, obviously coming up in that February signing period. And we'll recap that. Billy Embody going to be with us tomorrow morning at 8:30. So Embody will talk a little bit about obviously Marvell Allen, the 5-star point guard who committed to Will Wade in LSU basketball over the weekend. We'll also get a more updated recap on where LSU football is. We'll ask him what it means to bring Hankton onto staff as far as recruiting and on the field development and coaching goes. Embody pretty plugged in on all that stuff, and will give us kind of the 411. So if you've got questions, recruiting questions that you're falling asleep on and waking up, make sure and set yourself a reminder, set yourself a note. Be here tomorrow morning at 8:30. We'll ask Billy Embody any questions that you may have on recruiting, on LSU, on personnel, on anything LSU related. Have those questions lined up. Appreciate always as the interaction here on a Sunday night. Shout out to our guy Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones, as Newman and the crew were out there tailgating yesterday for LSU basketball. Obviously, it was not the outcome, and I don't know if the weather was really ideal for doing that, but the setup was great. So I mean, now we know
it was covered.
Even if it rains, you're covered now. If it gets cold, I mean, there's an opportunity to bring some space heaters out there that can keep people warm. And look, LSU's got some big games coming up. There's a Saturday tilt versus Mississippi State. Georgia is not that good this season. They're coming in on a Saturday, so we'll have some opportunities to bring people out.
Possible live show from out there.
Possibly, yeah, for sure. But I mean, definitely a place to get content. Balcony Bengals were out there yesterday.
Balcony Bengals are living right.
Yeah, they are.
I saw them at walk-ons for the Bengals game, and they're doing it about as good as you could do in college.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They're doing it, man. They got a good gig. But for Daniel Newman, like I went out there, it is a great spot, and like I said, if we could build this thing up, because nobody's really doing LSU basketball tailgating yet, he's on the forefront of this thing and loves LSU basketball. You did not undersell how much he wants to talk it and can talk it. He loves it. He's got game day kicks. He's got Air Force Ones for the game day.
I love the guy. He's a friend. He's a psychopath about basketball. He's psycho about basketball. I mean, which, he and I have nerded out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he can get into the depths.
Oh, bro.
Minutes.
I mean, and what I love about Newman is that, he takes it, he would scout 5th grade basketball too.
Yeah, it's personal.
Absolutely. And,
coach.
Does it get the person that doesn't? You know what I mean? The person that questions that, he's like,
what do you mean you're not there for the game?
Yeah, what do you mean?
You didn't go to practice today?
Right. We have an obligation to our team. You know what I mean?
It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you.
Absolutely. I mean, what kind of coach are you? My kid would never play for you.
Are you committed to this or not?
Right.
But he's awesome, man. I think that if we can, I think there's going to be a platform to build that thing out and make it kind of a cool little scene, especially for LSU basketball in the weekend home games. It'd be a great little Saturday spot, so I'm excited to build it out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And the people asking about Sage Ryan, Donnie T was asking about Sage Ryan, asking if he's just a bust. I don't think that's it. I think that some players, it takes a minute to click, and you've got the physical ability, and you've got all of what you need to be a player in the SEC West. And Sage, his time, his clock, it takes a little bit more to get going than other players, and that's okay, man. All these 5 stars and all these guys that come in here with all this hype and all of this expectation, they can't all be Kayshawn. I mean, they can't all be B.J. Ojolari that come in your freshman season and dominate. They can't all be Derek Stingley. I mean, there's room for some Jamar Chases. Look at Jamar Chase's freshman numbers compared to his sophomore season. He caught 3 touchdowns as a freshman. He got 20 as a sophomore. Right? I mean, but you could start to see it at the end of the sophomore season. I think he had a big touchdown catch against Central Florida in the Fiesta Bowl. Jamar. You know, like he got like on the backside of somebody, just ran by a cornerback, and you were like, oh, shit. I mean, he's going to be really good. You had no idea.
No clue.
I mean, like 3 years later, he was going to be unguardable on Sundays.
To the point where he's telling the press, like, I don't think there's anybody out here that can stop me. He
Right.
said in the post-game press conference, like, I don't think anybody out here can guard me. And Joe Burrow
He's
feels
on that
the same
level.
way.
He's on that level.
He should feel that
for
way.
as good as Burrow is and as prepared
What a
as
pick.
Burrow always is for every moment, I mean, to hear him in a pretty, kind of like truthful moment of saying, I know if it's one-on-one, Jamar's down there somewhere.
I'm throwing it to him.
I'm just throwing it up. I mean, yeah, in 4 or 5 years, Joe Burrow is going to be the best quarterback on the planet. He's going to be Tom Brady. He feels like Joe Montana right now. I mean, he feels, that moment yesterday of him rolling to the sideline felt very like the catch with Dwight Clark in, 82 of Candlestick? But Burrow yesterday, now I know that there's always going to be the inadvertent whistle of that play, but I mean, just the awareness and he was in bounds. It was a great throw.
Nice. Good pull.
82?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It reminded me more of Georgia, like the play where he kind of gets spun out of the pocket that got called. No, Clemson national championship that got called back on the initial drive that he completed to Thad way down the field, where he kind of gets spun around, and that's when Joe Burrow's at his best, when he kind of can create outside the pocket for some reason.
I thought the best play he made against Georgia was the first touchdown pass to Jamar.
Yeah, when he got the same
Where they gave him,
same play.
they gave him 11, it gave him like 11 seconds to throw. That was like when they were like playing the Auburn type defense, but they didn't have the front line
to be able to create pressure with just
that.
3. Yeah. But when he gets out the pocket and he's able to do that stuff, I can't believe that there's an inadvertent whistle, because
I know
that kind of stuff can't happen. But him to be able to, that's the no, yes play when he's going right and throws back across left. But it's not like just the play like that reminds you of Joe Montana. It's just the way he just
carries it,
unbothered, like unfazed, and loves it,
and makes the play
every time.
Every time. That pass he threw to Uzomah over the middle of the back shot of it is like Drew Brees 2012, 2013, 14,
Bring sports
15,
science back,
where you're like, oh my God, this guy's like shooting arrows.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's
bullseye.
It's not like around the catch radius. It's the radius.
The only spot he could have put it.
It's the only spot he could have put it. It hit Uzomah in the hands on a dead sprint down the field. There is no way to illustrate how difficult of a pass that is for somebody that may not watch football, understand football, get the concept of throwing the football down the field and what defenses prepare and how they prepare to stop that stuff, and to see the pinpoint accuracy that Burrow put that ball on Uzomah in the middle of the field yesterday. It felt like that Sports Science Drew Brees commercial where they have him throwing into the bullseye, where you're just like, my God, I mean, he hit the exact mark.
He's more accurate than an Olympic archer.
It's like a pinpoint accuracy. It's like needle point accuracy. It was incredible, man. I feel like Joey in the next 4 or 5 years is going to be like the Brady of the sport. He feels like he's going to be.
That's the takeover.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that's the transition.
Do you think it happened faster than you thought it would?
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to ask his dad. I'm going to ask his dad that tomorrow. And his dad has always been very honest about Joe's development, right? I think even he knew, and we'll ask him this, and I've asked him this before publicly, and we'll try to dive back more into it tomorrow morning. And Jimmy Burrow, Joe's old man, is going to be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and we'll be talking about what Cincinnati is like, that atmosphere yesterday. I've got a cousin of mine who actually flew up to the game, got great seats, and was sending back video. In fact, the video that we published on our Instagram and social media came from my cousin who was up there getting the video, and it was great. It was awesome. Just kind of seeing the joy of these 31 years of suffering being just bled out and screamed out by these Cincinnati Bengal fans.
It was spiritual.
It was awesome to see, man.
Because we've been there, like as fans of it, whether it be Saints or LSU, you know that moment. It's like, oh fuck,
yeah,
we finally got to go to the party.
That's the part to me that really hits home. Like waking up, going to bed as a Bengals fan right now, knowing that, like, with a clear outlook, like knowing what you know now as a Saints fan and as an LSU fan over the last 10 to 15 years, that you'll have it for this long, that it's been this long of a run with Breeze and LSU winning at a high level. That kind of feels like with the Bengals. You never really know it. Like, I hope it doesn't get taken out from under you, but I mean, it feels like this is going to be a decade run with the Bengals, and like you're like, we're going to be really good.
This is almost a better feeling than winning the Super Bowl. Like, I know that's what you're chasing, but when you realize that it's a goal every single year now, like, this is what we came to see.
We have a chance.
Yes.
We have a chance, and odds are we're better.
It's like when the Saints got Breeze. Like, that happened a little bit early. Like that 2006 when Reggie was a rookie, wasn't it, that year? Whenever they go to the NFC Championship in Soldier Field and they lose that game.
That was 2006. That was the first year.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It feels the same way where you're like, they win the first game, and then they're in the NFC Championship. Like, holy shit, the Saints could win the Super Bowl this year. And once you get that feeling, like that first taste, and you realize the Bengals are in the same spot, they're so set up for the future that they're going to be in this spot every year for the next 10 years if Joe Burrow never gets hurt. Yeah. Like, that's the only thing that's going to stop it.
No doubt.
He is a fucking winner.
And I mean, with the rules and the way that they protect the court. I mean, did you see the hit that Brady took today? They got the flag on it. The guy went in and hit him on his hip. I mean, like, he's like, I'm trying to hit in a zone in an area. I don't know where to touch this guy. But I mean, like, I have a clear hit on him, and I'm trying to take him to the ground. The Philadelphia defensive end. And he puts him to the ground, and I mean, it kept the drive alive. It was the first score of the
game. Immediate flag. You can't touch Brady.
You cannot touch Brady.
Him. And he knows it.
I think in a couple of years, you won't be able to touch Burrow.
Yeah.
Because he'll be that type of marketable, person to the NFL where behind closed doors, they're telling officials, he's a piece of glass. If he's touched,
the future of the sport.
Throw the flag. Yeah. Like, make it known that not to touch the guy.
Well, and he said it himself last year when he was mic'd up, and he's like, next year I'm getting that call because I'm going to be the GOAT. Like, in the next few years, like, because it was kind of a late hit type deal. We was like kind of going to slide, and they hit him, and he popped up and he talked to the defensive guy. And he caught it on the hot mic. He's like, next year I'm getting that call because I'm going to be top 5. I'm going to be the GOAT. It's like, he knows, dude. Right. He knows. And now with the way the rules have changed, it's even more prevalent.
Yeah. All right, so enjoy your Sunday night.
Oh, wait, hold on. Not breaking news. But
Justin McVicker, who knows more about basketball, Jordy or Noah? Noah definitely knows the players in the.
Historically, you got him, but this. You have him at LSU. I don't know, man. He knows a ton.
No, he does.
That's what I'm saying. That's a tough matchup because I would say.
Well, I would give him the edge on like names, players,
NBA and college, like the more worldly view.
I mean, I look to him when he's in the room
for his knowledge, as
almost like, help me out here.
Yeah,
as
I know
far
you
as
know it.
The player's name.
Yeah,
who was that? And he's very he's very knowledgeable as like knowing the game. He played it.
He did play it.
Right. But I mean, like, for somebody, when you're invested in it and play it and hear it coached every day, I mean,
he
knows how to draw up and break a press.
I just thought about his highlight.
He could break a press.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he could tell you how to break a press.
Don't let him go for a rebound, though. It's going off the glass, though. Sorry, buddy.
I mean, coach.
He just got left out to dry.
The Horton kid was a stud. I mean, he's a starting defensive end for Virginia.
Do you think he knows our boy?
Noah?
No, for Virginia. Who's our guy that just came over? The white guy?
Wes Weeks.
Wes Weeks. Not breaking news, but look who's just got their little NIL deal going on.
Ah, look at him. The art of the deal.
The art of the deal. Read the book. Look, somebody commented that. Yeah,
look at Kayshawn's got it done.
Got it done.
Damn. We can't get a G on that chest.
You can draw it in, dude.
We're paying all this money, Kayshawn. Can't get a G.
Give him a shirt. Give him a polo. Oh, man.
That was cool for Gordon to come up here the other day, man.
Bro. In the Rari?
Yeah, but just to come up here and kick it. I mean, that was cool.
You can't do that at the old UDL.
No.
This place, you can. It feels cooler.
It does.
It feels more welcoming.
I mean, think about Friday alone, bro. I mean, Stefanski.
That's the power.
Yeah.
Of this
Gordon.
room.
And we saw kind of like the shaking hands of power, like in the parking lot. They introduced themselves to one another. It was like almost like a standoff.
It was a blood oath moment.
Stefanski was like walking down the steps. Gordon was pulling up in the Ferrari.
5 years.
Yeah. Who is this guy?
Get out of here, old man.
I was like, he might be the governor.
Might be the president.
He could be the president of the United States. What's his name? I was like, John. He's like, is that John Stefanski?
You have his number?
I said, yeah, that's him, man.
And then Joey Molinaro got the Gordon effect. He's like, what is he doing? Give me his contact. It's like, what are you doing over there, Gordon? What are you cooking up? Where's Santa?
Something.
Find Santa.
KC in Pittsburgh, still 21-7 in Arrowhead right now. Make sure to hit that like, share button, comment button. We appreciate you as always being here on a Sunday night.
They don't even know.
They don't know.
New camera work, dog.
Don't forget about Mic'd Up tomorrow. Wow. Look at that, dude. Jeez.
Pacer TV, dog. Pop those blues.
Wow, dude.
Get out of here.
Close. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Little camera work.
Damn, dude. That is nice.
We're set up now, dude. Yeah. We're making moves, boys. Making moves.
Starting to come together.
Look, I got a remote for this thing. I mean,
even your shot looks pretty good.
This was your old one.
No, I'm saying, but like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That window effect's not bad from that angle. You know what I mean? When it was all up on you.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to take it. We'll see what it looks. This studio always looks better at night. But our show's in the morning.
It does.
But it looks great right now. But then the sun comes up. Ray Baker will be there.
Yeah, well, Ray Baker.
Always perfectly lit.
Ogeron, did you see NFL Live? NFL, he was all over the place yesterday.
Is he trying to get back in?
I don't know if he's trying to get back in. I think that he's just riding the wave.
Of what?
Joey and Jam.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But what is he gonna? I mean, when is he gonna?
I mean, he told the Saturday morning story when he went out there and they were practicing by themselves and Burrow the leader.
All of it is an indictment on him.
It really is.
Like he doesn't know that.
Right. It's almost like he doesn't get that.
Because Joe Burrow was running the team for you.
But he does look, and to be expected, sincerely happy. You know what I mean? Like, just...
It's the Urban Meyer on the boat with the bong in the background.
Absolutely.
Bro, chill. And you can see this reflection of the guy shirtless in the background. He's like, what? He's like, get the fuck over. What are you doing, dude?
On national TV.
I'm on national TV.
For what? We're all fucked up. Yeah. For how? Why?
Can I come on? But that's what Coach O's living that same life.
Yeah.
Happy as a clam.
Another touchdown?
Said,
no witnessing another touchdown, Tyreek Hill. Did the cheetah just dive in?
Did he do the flip thing?
Yeah. But I think unintentionally.
There's
touchdown.
Not somebody more athletic in the NFL than him.
Dude, you never know in the NFL. There's a special teams player somewhere that is a disgusting athlete. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I know. I'm just saying that there is one tucked away on some roster that is freakish. Like Cyril Grayson is probably a freak athlete, like jumping, catching, running. Obviously, running. That's his name, Grayson, right?
Yeah,
Cyril Grayson, yeah. You know what I mean? Inconspicuous. One drafted, tucked away.
Track guy.
Yeah, 52 of 53 guys on Tampa Bay's roster, and probably would beat you in a vertical jumping race, some type of athletic contest 10 out of 10 times. He probably beat Mike Evans, you know what I mean, who's a freak.
Oh, ain't nobody lining up to race him. Like, Cyril, if y'all want to do 40, we can do 40. Like, he'll do it every time.
Right.
Like, I'm the fastest guy
here. He's probably the same, like, on a vertical jump.
Yeah.
I mean, like those 40. Track dudes, when they...
Marlon...
Humphrey?
No, for LSU basketball. Marlon...
yes. Oh, my God.
Thompson? Thomas?
No.
Marlon Taylor. Was they said the freakiest athlete at LSU.
Ever.
And then the same thing goes for Jaden Hill, who
he's a baseball player.
Marlon
Taylor.
Was a baseball player?
Was a baseball player in Brooklyn, New York, at a community college.
What?
And is walking
How bored was he out there?
The basketball coach is walking through, and they're practicing in the gym because of the rain and weather, and he's got baseballs in his hand and doing
10 of them.
And
dude.
he's like touching the top of the backboard and dunking the baseballs. And the basketball coach is like, Coach,
who are you?
Who the fuck is 14? He's like, Coach, he's our center fielder. He's like, I've told him a couple of times, that you need to be a basketball player because I don't know if you're going to be a baseball player ultimately when it's all said. You can do something.
You're too athletic.
You're way too athletic, and you're too freaky to be out here. And the guy took him, and the next thing you know, he was like the junior college player of the year. Like, I mean, he was freakishly good I think he's on the. Let me get. I want to say Washington Wizards practice G League team.
Because he could make. I don't know if he'll make a roster, but he should just be playing basketball professionally.
Well, he just should be somewhere, doing something.
Because he's good enough to play.
Yes, I'm saying Washington Wizards G League squad is where I've got Marlon Taylor.
Undrafted, playing career. He's
for sure.
in Erie Bayhawks. G League of the Pelicans.
Pelicans.
You could have put a gun to my head, and I could have not named the Pelicans G League team.
No way. Especially one in Erie.
Go.
Is that like late, like Michigan?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
Speaking of, like Zion's gone, huh? That's toast.
I don't know. Did you see the uniforms that he bought for Newman?
Newman was at the game. I saw Arch.
Newman basketball. Did you see what he provided?
No.
Did you see the gear that he provided? Check out Randy Livingston's Twitter account. And the Jumpman Zions. No. Yes. And he's got them like unis and 2 pairs of kicks that the green and black Jordans that he provided them are like must-haves.
Where can I find this? But I saw that they were at the game. I saw Arch with his old... He looks so tired all the time.
He does.
Why does he always look so tired?
He looks stoned.
He does.
He looks stoned all the time.
I didn't want to say that, but he does.
But I mean,
But I guess he just nothing phases
from one to another.
Yeah. Yeah, Arch, I smell you.
I mean, like,
I smell you. I smelled you walking.
Where's it at, buddy?
Yeah. He seems like he's got a great personality, too. He just doesn't want to show it. Because with the video of the
girl, he got burned.
He's like, hotty-totty.
He got burned.
He knows. He's like, this isn't good.
I'm going to get burned. I'm going to get burned on this.
I'm not even 18.
Yeah.
She was probably 22.
She was probably assigned by Lane Kiffin to that.
You know what he does?
Wow, tackle eligible for KC as they mark Tyreek Hill down at the 1-yard line. They run tackle eligible and score. Big man scores the best. 27-7 up now with the extra point pending, and it's good. 28-7 now for the Chiefs. 28-7 up. Did you find that on Zion?
No, it's not on Randall Livingston. I'm about to do.
Where did I see this? Let me get this for you. Zion.
How many words do you think you type a minute?
Not good.
I got him. Oh, shit.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
So what does that mean?
Huh? I don't know.
I love that. What does
but
it
yes,
mean?
it's gone. I mean, I think he's definitely gone. But, nice gift.
Is this a parting gift?
Could be.
Because you saw the Knicks added Cam Reddish, and they're putting together like Duke. They're putting the Duke squad together. They're all
How
best
did
friends.
Reddish get out of Atlanta? They let him go?
He hasn't been that good.
But I thought he was improving.
He was, but they put together an offer you can't refuse.
Oh, they traded for him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I thought you meant like they picked him up on like a waiver wire.
No, but that's obviously a clear move to get Zion, right?
Sure. Zion feels signed.
To the Knicks.
Yes. Felt like it was a done deal in that press conference, the way he was smiling. Frank the Fourth Wilson quad just signed with LSU.
Frank? Oh wait, his son in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
What do you think he does? Special teams? Like, is he? I don't know. I mean, he was good for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know his like.
I don't know if this is his level.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah. I don't know how to say that.
I know to look at those though.
Coach, the ones on the left?
Yes, absolutely.
Must-haves.
Yeah.
Must-haves.
So that's your little parting gift from Zion. Here's a couple J's. They were all at the game though. All of them, the whole team. Why were they there?
They must have a game. They must be playing in a tournament.
Because the LeBron tournament got canceled.
I know.
So I was just wondering what they were doing there. But good for them.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the tournament that we're supposed to be playing in this week didn't get canceled. It feels like that's
in New Orleans?
No, it's in Baton Rouge. But I mean, like,
everything's trending.
The vid's striking, bro.
Is it still crawling?
I don't even know.
Give us another variant. It's about time.
They're coming, bro.
I'm ready for a new one.
They're coming.
Give me that official release. Good show.
All right, have a good one. We will talk to you tomorrow.
What do we have tomorrow?
7 a.m. Jimmy Burrow, 8 a.m. And then Billy Embody, 8:30. So we'll be answering your recruiting questions. We'll be talking to you about Jimmy Burrow and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. It looks like they will be in Tennessee, in Nashville, taking on Derrick Henry and the Titans.
I like that matchup.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Burrow feels like every time he takes the field now, he's got a chance.
He feels like he's been the better quarterback in almost every matchup except for what they don't want to say top 5, but he's top 5. Like
Burrow?
I would say.
Yeah, they're scared to give him his
Rodgers,
credit now, but next year
Mahomes,
he's going to, because he feels like
he's ready.
Yeah.
And we'll ask his dad, and then mic'd up 11-1. That'll be excellent too. That's gonna be a great time. Very excited about both of these things coming up tomorrow.
All right, have a good Sunday night. We'll be with you tomorrow morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and hit that like, share button. As I see little Jordan Culotta typing in the chat there. Love you too, little buddy.
That's your son?
Yeah, he's typing from Kelly's.
Answer, Dad. Answer me.
Yeah, that's him.
So hot. What does that mean?
Yeah, chill out, buddy.
Is he
Go to bed.
funny?
Yeah, he's trying to be funny.
That's funny though.
He's getting at that age.
I didn't know if it was the fireplace.
Six buddies over last night for the birthday.
Yeah, he's feeling
spending the night.
We'll talk about this tomorrow. Don't give me your full Spider-Man review. Did you enjoy?
So I left them in the and I went out and watched the LSU basketball game.
Did they know?
Did they know? Hell yeah,
left?
they know.
Okay,
yeah, they know. They lit that place on fire.
Yeah,
much.
does it say it?
Yeah, they went wild, buck wild.
Substitute teachers here.
Yes. Yes, little Jay, you're caught, buddy. Put the phone down. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Samo, we'll see you in the morning. Samo, have we got the I'm sorry, man. Have we got the we will
Kelly's
get the
calling you dad.
We will get the sweatshirt in the mail to you over there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Jordy Culotta Show. Hit that like button, hit that share button. See you tomorrow morning.
Oh, and let's get mic'd up to 100 subscribers. Of those 100, we will pick 5, maybe 3, maybe 1 to get new mic'd up merch whenever it comes out. So if you're part of the 100, we can go back and find who subscribed, and you'll be entered into a raffle to get some merch because the new mic'd up logo is slick. Oh,
it is.
It's good looking. All right.